Okay, so guys, I'll be like walking you guys through on how I designed this PlayStation 2 PES 2013, how I was able to replicate it in Figma. Yeah, if you look at this three frame here, this is more of the screenshots. This is the design itself, and this is my wireframe or my sketch out frame. So if you look at this is like the screenshots screen. There's kind of an image. Can you see? Just more of an image. Look at it here. More of an image. So now, how I'll also show you guys how I was able to get this screen, this Nemagenio image here. This Nemagenio image, because look at this image here. Can you see? It's more of blurry, yeah, and low quality. And if you look at mine here, it's more of high quality. Yeah, and also the texture is more bold enough, yeah, compared to the image itself. So what I did first was to sketch out my shapes here, my shape first, and I use rectangle, which I use pen tool to modify it. Look at it here. Can you see? Which I use pen tool to modify it to give me exact shapes like this. Can you see? And one thing to give me here is that you need to make sure that you always play around with pen tools. It matters a lot, because there are some styles that you need to use pen tools to modify, or some shape you need pen tools to modify. So I use pen tools to modify these stops here, which I was able to get these shapes here. So okay, so let's dive in now. So now this is the menu itself, which is this particular one here, something like that. You see this here, and this is the text content I use here, and the typeface I use. I think I use Inter. Yes, Inter. I use Inter typography. Yeah, that's what I use. I use Inter. So let me just delete it out. So I was able to like use Inter on this particular stuff. This select this mode to begin playing immediately. So I use Inter on this particular stuff here. So I can just remove it out. So, and if you look at this menu itself here, let me just group it. Yeah. Also the match. So the match I also use Inter, which I add a little bit stroke around it. So the ability will be more visible. So add a little bit stroke on it. Can you see? If you just look at it, can you see? Can you see like more of stroke on the around it, flat stroke? So this goes out. Next with this. So for this particular navs here, this navs, let me just ungroup it. So most of these navs, what I did was to look for the image. Yeah, like I have to like search for it on Google, and most of them I'll just bring it in, and also play around with marks. Like I have to like marks on it. Like for instance, look at this particular icon here, this logo icon here. Let me just close this marks. Can you see? This is the color spread. So what I did just to mask white above it, so to give me the white color. Yeah, the white color. So this goes to all of them here, sent to all of them here. So that is how I'm able to achieve these stuff here. So, and also if you look at this reflection here, so what I did was, let me just remove it, call them Shift V, returns back, then bring it out. So what I did here was, to add a little bit of value on it, which I use rectangle, and I use linear on it, so it looks more of a reflection. So just remove this out again. Now can you see? And don't forget I use like I flipped the icons to look like a reflection understand. So which I use Shift V and Shift V flipped upside down. So that is how I'm able to achieve this stuff here. And I also have to reduce the opacity of each of them to 30. Change it to 30. Yeah, can you see? 30. So that is how I'm able to achieve these stuff here. And also add a little bit like some kind of drop background. Can you see colors? And also gives me this. Can you see this? Also this effects here, which I use here too. I'll just remove this match here. and the shadow, remove the shadow. So now this is the main artwork here. So what I did here, that's a very simple stuff here. So this is the ball, which I'll also show you guys how I'm able to get these balls and this image without using any of them. So let me just remove these balls here. Remove these balls. So this is number junior. So now what I normally do is that if I'm to work on any image, like if I'm to use any image on any of my game UI UX, I always play around with the color grading, which I always use this. If you look at these two here, I play around with the contrast, saturation, temperature, highlight, shadow, tint. But I play around what do you want it to be or to fit your design. Now, if you look at this, it's giving me more of 2013 vibe, kind of yellowish effect of the stuff. So how I achieve this stuff is very simple. So what I did here was to play around with the contrast. So I'll just bring it, reduce it down. The saturation, remove it. Okay, saturation, remove saturation, temperature, remove it. Can you see? Why the shadow? Just have to remove it. Can you see now? Return it to normal state. The same with this, because I see a lot of game designers that always just throw their image without color grading the image, which is so bad, because your image need to have the same tone or the same color effects with your game style. So the contrast also the same thing with this. Remove this. Same thing with the shadow. Yeah, I should return to the state. Same with this angle here. Okay. The same here. 20, remove it, return it. Can you see? So I have to return everything back to its default state. And how did I able to get this image without losing quality? So what I did was I used Gemini. What I did. So to achieve it, what I did was to duplicate this particular stuff here. So I have to I want to get this particular image, I will just have to remove these ones here, because I need to get the image individually. So what I do was just to do something like this. Can you see? Something like this. Yeah. Also have to drag this a little bit up a little bit. So I'll just have to copy this image. I'll just copy it as PNG, copy like this, copy as PNG, Ctrl+C, copy as PNG, open my Gemini. So I'll just place my Gemini, and this is the prompt I use. So this is one prompt I use. I will dictate the prompt. So I'm using paid Gemini, and this also you can use this also on free Gemini too. So I paste it here. Can you see? I think okay. I paste it here. So this is the outcome. Can you see? This is the outcome. You just have to play around with it. So I told Gemini that I want the aspect ratio to be 10:10 because I want the resolution to be more 4K view here, 4K view, than giving me the low quality. So this is the game here, the character, the name character, and I told the Gemini to remove everything around it, which is this stuff here. Yeah, and Gemini also did the same. So what I did was add the jersey, and this is the jersey. I have to I told Gemini to just remove the. So this is the jersey. So what I did was to remove the background manually by myself. Manually by myself. Though this particular one I use this image, I have to add it on my background, the game background. So I have to copy this, remove the background. So I was able to get this. So this is the step I used to achieve every one of these. So this is what I did just to achieve every one of these. So let me just remove these. Delete this, also delete this one too. Yeah. So how did I achieve almost remove this one too, which is this abstract pattern here, rectangle. So how did I achieve this particular shapes, this midis 3D vibe? Yeah, 3D aspect here, details or in depth. So it's a very simple approach. Now don't forget all this image also the same thing with here. I use the same procedure I use for the character aspect to get the image. I use this image too. also make the sky morning. I was able to like to bring it back to my Figma. So how did I achieve this stuff? So the first was okay, so this is the pattern. So this pattern here, so this is the pattern. So this pattern here, like have like 4 stages of it. So the one is the stroke blur that's giving me this light effect. Can you see? I have to like remove it. While the next one is the stroke. So the stroke I use effects, drop down shadow, like so drop shadow, both of them, and I have to add a little bit stroke on it. Yeah, which I use 16. So if I want to remove the stroke, can you see there's nothing there? So I'll just remove the drop shadow. Can you see everything is out? And remove the stroke. Remove the stroke. So for the pattern, so for this pattern, if you look at this, I use the pattern effect to achieve this. So look at it here. I have to like use the rectangle to play around with it. So polygon, yeah, I play around with the polygon. So I was able to use it as my pattern reference here, which I did here. So can you see? Play around with it, scale, spacing. I was able to achieve. Can you see? I was able to achieve these stuff here. The same thing, can you see? The same. I was able to achieve these stuff here. So that's how I'm able to achieve this first pattern removed. Now this is the background itself removed. Also a drop shadow removed. So that is the approach I use to achieve every one of these shape stuff. The same with this shape here. So let me just remove this image out, remove the shadow. Can you see the same? But I just use drop shadow. I use drop shadow here, and also I use max tool here, max effect here. Because look at this here, this glow effect here. So what I did was to use max to like use rectangle. Can you see this is the rectangle I use because I have to like max it to be inside of this. Can you see? So I max it inside this particular shape and add a little bit layer below, which is 12. Yeah. And for the rectangle, I use drop down. Let's see drop down. I use drop shadow here. Drop shadow. Can you see drop shadow? 12. Mess around with it. Always make sure that you check this show behind transparent area, because once it's unchecked, it won't be visible. Can you see? You can't be able to see it. Can you see? Because everything is out. Can you see? So always make sure that you activate it. You activate it because it's more of a transparent aspect. So you have to like toggle it for the drop shadow to show because it's on the transparent background. Yeah. So that's how I'm able to achieve this. So this should be out. Yeah, it's out. The same with this. I also have to like mess around with the image, play around with the color grading. So can you see that gives me the yellowish vibe? Yeah. Then goes this, and this. Yeah. Can you see? And this. So the same goes to this. So that's how I'm able to achieve these stops here. If you look at this, the screenshot, can you see the screenshot? So that's how I'm able to achieve everything here. So I was able to replicate the design here too. So for beginners that they're trying to upscale their game UI UX, you can also join my game UI UX community.